looking at the cosine rule, and in order for us to use a cosine rule, we are not going to use it with a right angle triangle. So once we see a right angle triangle, we should know that we can use the Pythagoras theorem to find the measurements of missing sides. We can use the trig ratios, the sine, the cosine, and the tan ratio to find the measurements of a missing side or the measurement of missing angles. As it relates to the cosine rule, we are looking at triangles that are not right-angled triangles, okay? So for the cosine rule, when given the measurement of 3 sides, we can use the cosine rule. When we are given the measurement of 2 sides, including an angle between those 2 sides. So when we get the measurement of 2 sides, including an angle within those 2 sides, we can use the cosine rule. On the screen, you will see where we have our right angle. On the screen, you will see where we have our triangle, and it is labeled ABC for the sides, lowercase, and ABC for the angles, uppercase. We have the cosine rule formula for finding the missing sides. So if we're going to be finding the missing side for A, this is the formula that we're going to use. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. So we know where we see cos A, we know that they're talking about that specific angle. All right. So say, for example, we're looking for the measurement of side B. So it would be B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC, and then we're going to have cos, and because we're looking for the side B, in bracket we're going to have angle B. So whatever angle it is for B, that is what we're going to put in bracket for cos B. If we're looking for the measurement of side C, it would be C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB, and then we would have cos, and in bracket we would have angle C in bracket. Remember that when you're using your cos, your tan, your sine, you should ensure that your calculator is in the degrees mode. Ensure that it is in your degrees mode so that when you're double checking your answers, you can get it correct. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some examples, and we're going to use this method to find the missing sides of some triangles using the cosine rule. So we are going to look at question 1, and it says find x for each of the triangles below. When we look at x, x is the measurement of the missing sides of each triangle. The formula is to your right, where we know that we square our side equal to the square of another side plus the square of another side minus 2BC cos A. So we're going to implement that information and substitute it into the formula. So the missing side is x, so I'm going to have x squared here. And that is equal to 8 centimeters square plus 10 square minus, we have 2, and then we have 8 times 10, and then we're going to have cos, and the angle that we're focusing on is the 60 degrees. So it's going to be cos 60. So I have my x squared here. Using your calculator, you're going to square 8. So 8 squared is 64. Plus 1 plus 10 squared is 100. Now you're going to multiply negative 2 times 8 times 10. And you're going to get negative 160. You have not yet calculated cos 60. So what you can do is to type that into your calculator to find out what is the value of cos 60, and that is 0.5. So I know I'm going to multiply that by 0.5. So here I have x squared is equal to 64 plus 100 is 164. And if you are going to multiply 160 times 0.5, remember it's negative, you are going to get negative 80. So now you're going to take away the 80 from the 164 and you're going to get 84. In order to get rid of the square, you have to use the square root. So you square root both sides to eliminate the square. So now we have x is equal to the square root of 84. Use your calculator to find the square root of 84 and you're going to give your answer in 1 decimal place. So the square root of 84, 1 decimal place would be 9.2. So our answer for x is 9.2 centimeters. And that is your answer for A. We're going to move over to B. And if we're going to substitute information into the formula for B, we're going to have x squared, because we're solving for x, is equal to 20 squared plus 15 squared minus, we put our number 2, and we're going to put 20 times 15, and we're going to have cos, identify your angle between the measurements given, and that is 120 degrees. So we have cos 120. So we're going to go ahead and work it out in our second line. So 20 times 20, you're going to get 400. 15 times 15, you have 225, so you have plus 225. So you're going to punch into your calculator negative 2 times 20 times 15, and you get negative 600. You are going to convert the cos 120, so you're going to put in your calculator cos 120, and you should get negative 0.5. So again, ensure that you double check cos 120, negative 0.5. So I'm going to continue with my calculation. 400 plus 225, that's 625. Negative 600 times negative 0.5. When you multiply two negative, you get a positive, and that is positive 300. So we're going to add our 300 to the 625, and you should get 925. Remember, to get rid of the square, we square root both sides. So now we're going to say the square root of 925, 1 decimal place, we're going to get 30.4. And it is in centimeters. So the measurement for x in the question B is 30.4 centimeter. We are now going to work on C, and we're still looking for the missing side x, so we're going to substitute that information into the formula. So we're looking at C. So we have here x squared is equal to 42 squared plus 35 squared minus 2. In bracket, we're going to have 42 times 35, and we're going to have cos, identify your angle, the angle is 56 degrees. So we have cos 56. So we're now going to start calculate using your calculator. Make sure it is in the degrees mode. So 42 times 42 is 1,764. 35 squared, 1,225. So now you're going to multiply negative 2 times 42 times 35, and that is negative 2,940. So the cos 56, you're going to calculate that. And we normally write it in 3 decimal place, and that is 0.559. We're going to continue as we go along with our calculation. 1,764 plus 1,225. That is 2,989. Now you're going to take away, you have 2,940, you're going to multiply, that is 2,940 negative times 0.559. You're going to get a negative answer, and that is 1,643.46. You're going to go ahead and take that away from your 2,989. And you would get, remember, one decimal place, 1,345. So we can just go ahead and round that off to the nearest whole number, and we're going to put that to 1,346. So we're going to square both sides. Now we're going to find the square root of 1,346, and one decimal place, that is 36.7. So we have 36.7 millimeters. So that would be our answer for C. So by now you should know, you identify the formula that you're going to use, and since we're finding the measurement of the missing sides, we would use the rule for the cosine rule. We would use the formula for the cosine rule: a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. For question 2, we're asked to find the size of the angles for each of these triangles. When we look at these triangles, we can see that we are given the measurement for all sides of the triangle. So in order for us to use the cosine rule, it must not be a right angle triangle. The triangle that we're looking at, it should have the measurement for all three sides in order for us to find the measurement of the missing angle. When you look to the right, you will see the formula. So if we're looking for the angle A, it is equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. So we are going to be using that information as it relates to answering the question. So for some persons, remember that we're looking for the angle. We're looking for theta. Okay? So the sides will actually formulate with the information. So some persons may wonder, what is the A side? So the A side would be the side that is opposite to the angle. So here where we have theta, it is directly across from the 10 centimeter. So we could call this A, and then we can just use the others as B and C. So since we're going to find the cos theta, so here I could have cos theta is equal to, so I have 8 squared plus 9 squared minus, and I'm going to have 10 squared divided by, we're going to have 2 times 8 times 9. So basically the 9 and the 8, that would be BC, and whatever missing angle, I am going to use the angle as theta, and I'm going to use the corresponding side, or the side opposite to the angle that I'm working with. That is going to be my A side. So here I'm going to go ahead, use your calculator and find the square of 8. So 8 squared is 64, and we have 9 squared, and that is 81, minus, we have 10 squared, that is 100. So you don't want to punch everything into your calculator one time. You want to do it step by step so you know exactly what it is you're working with. So here we have 2 times 8 times 9, and we have 144. So now we can calculate 64 plus 81, that is 145, and you're going to take away 100, and that is going to leave you with 45. So now you have 45 over 144. So remember that we're still working for cos theta. So you're going to divide 45 by 144. Give your answer 3 decimal place. So we have 0.313. And in order to get theta, I'm going to say theta is equal to the cos inverse of 0.313. So put that in your calculator. The inverse of cos 0.313. And you're going to give your answer to the nearest whole number. And here theta is equal to 72 degrees. We are now going to look at B. We're going to use the same formula. So we have cos theta is equal to, remember that the side directly opposite from the 7 meters is the angle, so the angle is directly across from the 7 meters. So here we're going to have 8 square plus 5 square minus 7 square divided by, we're going to put our number 2, and we're going to have 8 times 5. So again, get your calculator and start working. 8 square is 64 plus 5 square 25, and 7 square is 49. So you're going to multiply 2 times 8 times 5, and you get 80. So here we have cos theta. So you're going to have 64 plus 25, 89 minus 49, and you get 40. So it's 40 over 80. So here we have cos theta is equal to, you're going to divide 40 by 80, give your answer. So here we have 0.5. So on the calculator, you're going to have theta is equal to cos inverse 0.5. And theta is equal to 60 degrees. So your answer for B is 60 degrees. We are now going to look at C, and here we have our angle, and we're going to have cos theta is equal to, so we're going to identify which of the side is directly across from the angle, and that is what we're going to use for A. So cos theta would be equal to 22 square plus 20 square minus 29 square. And you're going to divide that by 2 times 22 times 20. So here we have cos theta is equal to, so you're going to have 22 square, that is 484, plus 20 square, and that is 400, so we have plus 400, minus 29 square, and that is 841. So the information that we have here, we're going to add our numbers. So we put divided by 2 times 22 times 20, and that should give you 880. So we have cos theta is equal to 484 plus 400, that is 884. And when you take away the 841 from it, you're going to get 43. So we have 43 divided by 880. So here we have cos theta is equal to 0.049. So now we're going to find the inverse of 0.049. So we have theta is equal to cos inverse of 0.049. And we're going to work that out on our calculator. And you should get 87.1. If we're rounding it off to the nearest whole number, it would be 87 degrees. So that is our class, so that is our questions relating to the sine rule. So that is the information related to the cosine rule. When we are given the measurement of 3 sides, we can use that information to find the missing angle. When we are given the measurement of 2 sides and an angle between those 2 sides, we can use that information to find the missing side. So go ahead and comment below if you understand what was taught. You can also subscribe, share with your classmates and your peers, and see you next time. Thank you for watching.